What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Talks with Tay with your favorite homegirl, The Taylor Maid. We are back with another episode of Talks with Tay, and this week I have something special for you guys. So, I told y'all we're coming with more, we're coming with better conversation this season, and of course, a whole lot of new content. And a part of that content is I will be starting mini series throughout the podcast, and what these mini series to be, they're like little lifestyle series. So, from this podcast, we talk about growth, evolution, and truly just becoming your better self and what all it takes to not only start, be, and stay in that process, but what it authentically means. And so with that, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into a better you. It's a lot that goes into your better self. And so I thought something cool, something nice is if we break it up in themes and we talk about it in a series style. Not a sermon style, but a series style. Because y'all know me. I'm your favorite homegirl, not your favorite preacher. So we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it a being on here. We're going to keep it lit. You know what I'm saying? So I have this new lifestyle series that I'll be starting. And our first series is going to be about mastering contentment. So over the next couple of weeks, several-ish weeks or so, I'll be dropping episodes that are centered around tools that it takes for you to really embrace and have contentment in your life. And honestly, you guys, as somebody that has a lot of ambition, has a lot of goals, like learning how to not only have but to rest in contentment has not only been so beneficial for me and just my overall health and wellness about myself, but just in being able to sustain and stick with myself as I'm navigating life, like really breathing contentment. And contentment is not complacency. Let me say that. Like, complacency is when you stop. Complacency is when you have a whole lot of movement and no motion. Like, you do a whole lot of nothing. Like the old folks say, saying a whole lot of nothing. That is what complacency is. Contentment is very different. Contentment is, when you have the feeling and the understanding that you are enough, no matter what phase, no matter what position, no matter what season of your life that you're in, you're resting and knowing, like, bro, I am enough. And not only am I enough, but in the areas that I don't feel enough, in the areas that are still growing, or even the areas that are good and great, like knowing God is enough and sufficient in those areas really help bring and wrap up the theme of contentment with yourself. And so we're having this episode today, A, to introduce the series, and B, just to get in the bag a little bit and talking about what authentic contentment is. And I had to say it's not complacency, because I think a lot of times, like, people think, oh, you can be content and just, you happy with what you have. You're not looking for the more, you're not looking for the better, and that's not true. Like, contentment is just saying, like, you know what, if we had to do this in a percentage thing, like, I'm 10% of the way and I'm okay with that, because I know I have 90% left to go. Of course, yes, and I'm working towards that, but I'm okay with being right here at 10%, because I know on the other end of that is 100. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, as you grow, and then even get back into last week's episode when I just talked about not attaching yourself to the source. Lord, Jesus Christ. Last week's episode when I said attaching yourself to the source and not the outcome, that all stems from the understanding of having contentment with yourself. And I think a lot of the times, like, especially when we talking about self-evolution, we talking about growth, we talking about better. Like I said last week, we get wrapped up in the endings of those things. We hear, oh, he works everything out for your good. And we get wrapped up in, it's going to be good. What that outcome is going to look like, what that good is going to be. That we don't sit and we don't be like, okay, you know what? God said everything is going to work out for my good. But what if that good meant that I lost my job, so that way I can be able to be more invested into my entrepreneurial hobbies? Maybe that good was God separated me from this relationship so I can shift from going after what I wanted to getting what I needed. You know what I'm saying? But in that, like, you have to learn how to have contentment. And contentment also is not the absence of emotions, because I think too, like, we think, oh, like, you content, that means you just, you don't get mad, you don't get upset because you have a content heart. Like, no, not at all. Like, you actually are going to shoot yourself in the foot trying to have contentment and trying to isolate yourself from your emotions. Like, no, contentment is just saying, you know what, okay, cool. I'm having a tough day today. Like, I'm actually a little annoyed. I'm a little hot. I'm a little pissy with it, but it's all good. It's cool. Because you know what? Every day is not perfect, but every day is worth it. You know what I'm saying? I might not have all of what I want right now, but I do know that I have enough. And I just don't think that a lot of the times, like, we really feel or take on the full gravity of being content with our lives, being content with ourselves. Because again, living in a world that's forever changing, you know what I'm saying? Or, being with yourself as you're forever evolving, really learning how to just love that and be okay with that each step of the way is just so important. And so I wanted to do this series because You know what I'm saying? Contentment by itself is just that, contentment. That's all it means, you know, being cool with stuff. But in that, it's so many things that, not even so many, I broke it down to 7, y'all. You know, and there's 7 things I found for myself. You know, you may find contentment in other ways. This is what Toxic Tay has found, what has worked for her for being content. And so this is what we're going to share. But I broke it up into 7 things. And just to make sure that I don't butcher them, y'all, I did write them down on my little handy dandy notepad that I got over here. And so I'm going to read them off real quick. And then I'm going to touch on each one of them just a little bit. So we have respecting individuality, having faith, building confidence, cultivating wellness, seeking guidance, self-reflecting, and embracing love. And I feel like when you take on and you respect and you go after those 7 things in your life, like literally you start to find contentment not only with you, but you truly start to see yourself grow and elevate through your process. And so I want to talk about the first one just a little bit. And of course, you guys, make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you locked in over the next couple of weeks because we'll be breaking down each one of these topics into a little bit more detail. But for today, we're going to keep it short and keep it sweet. But respecting individuality. First and foremost, if you don't rock with you, can't nobody else rock with you. Like, you have to literally be your hardest advocate, your biggest fan in life. And I'm not saying that and like, oh, you need to be conceited, you need to be arrogant. Like, no, not at all. But I'm saying that in the sense of you gotta respect the individual that you are on your process. Because one-on-one, I don't even care if you got a twin. Can't nobody else be you in life. So you have to accept and understand that first before you even get into the sense of understanding what it means to be content. Because they say it all the time, comparison is the thief of joy. And if you can't rock with yourself, you're going to have a hard time being content with your process because, again, we live in a day and age of social media. Everything is plastered and put everywhere. It's so easy to feel like you're behind, says you're not doing enough. It's so easy to be content with you and where you're at in life when you got everything and everybody showing you where they at and what they doing. So definitely individuality. And then getting into having faith. Guys, I don't know why I did that, but guys, like, listen. Okay, having faith. Why is faith important? And then being able to create and have contentment for yourself. Because I don't know about y'all, but on top of the head, y'all know we serve the Most High. And the Most High is G-O-D, capital G, big G, never been a little one. And what I really have learned is just, you know, when I grow, and not when I grow, as I've been growing in my faith, as I've really been seeking and building that relationship and not just having a religion and stuff when it comes to God, I've been understanding and getting, you know, when it say, oh, he works everything out for our good, like I said last week, attaching yourself to the source and not the outcome. When I tell you God will bring you so much peace, so much joy, so much happiness with your life, when they say it take the faith of a mustard seed, like literally a little goes a long way. And so when you're building contentment with yourself and you're trying to find, you know what I'm saying, that swivel that you want to really be on, when you're trying to find how to exactly pivot, like being able to rest in a higher being, a higher source, because I can't sit and say like, oh, contentment is either just a feeling or always feeling like enough, because that's not what it is either. Like, you know, contentment is just being okay and accepting, like, you know, I might not have enough, but he's enough. And that's where the faith comes in and where it makes up for those fleshy feelings that we go in. Because I can't sit here and tell you that, you know, in trying to have a content lifestyle, like you're not going to ever have days of frustration. You're not ever going to be mad. You won't ever be upset. No, of course you will. You're human. You're going to go through those. But when you serve a good and a great God, he definitely helps enable you to be able to walk that out a little bit more and believe that a little bit more. Be okay with like, you know what, today was rough. Actually, last 3 months was rough as hell. But honestly, the God that I serve is so good. So, alrighty, like, it's a season. I understand everything has a meaning in the process, and while I may not get it or understand it, I know he works everything out for my good, so we're going to keep walking this thing out. So, we had just went over respecting individuality. Y'all know I'm still working. Y'all know if you've been watching Toxic Tay, I really can't talk. Sometimes I be talking mad fast, but we working on it. We getting better, but I just got myself caught up on my tongues. But okay, boom. We're just over respecting individuality, having faith. Moving into theme number 3, building confidence. Now, this might be my personal favorite one and the whole understanding of being content with your life. And that's simply because, let me tell y'all something. I mean, aside from the fact that I am a fabulous Leo, like, I'm also my biggest fan. Like, don't nobody go harder for me than me. And so if I said I want it, I'm going to get it. If I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And literally that comes from just the fact that I'm confident in who I am. And that does not mean that you're arrogant. That doesn't mean that you're cocky or anything like that. Don't mean that you're conceited. It just literally means being confident in who you are, being confident that you have a purpose. But, you know what I'm saying? If you respect your individuality, you have faith, you trust that God has a purpose for your life, getting into number 3, having that confidence. Man, I ain't gonna say it's a cakewalk, but it's a lot easier to know that you that girl, to know that you that guy and stuff when you do things like respect who you are as an individual person. When you do things like build your faith with God. So, you know, having confidence is real key to things. And also too, with us living in the day and age that we live in, everything is comparing and contrasting. Like they say it all the time, comparison is the thief of joy. And so if you're not able to master your confidence, because again, you're not the only person trying to do them. You're not the only person trying to become the better you. So when you get in an arena, you get in a room with other people like that, like still being able to stand 10 toes on who you are, when I tell y'all, like, it started getting unshakable. Like, situation might get shaky, but baby, you gonna stand strong, talking Statue of Liberty. Like, yeah. So having confidence is major, and being able to live and have a content lifestyle. Then we move over into number 4, which is gonna be about cultivating wellness. And I'm gonna just tell y'all this right now, like, health is wealth. And I put on a post, which if you haven't checked it out, make sure you head over to my Instagram page and scroll through our 7 things of contentment, which I break them down a little bit more, but of course, we'll be talking about it more over the next couple of weeks. But definitely, with cultivating wellness, health is wealth. And if you're not taking care of yourself on the emotional level, the physical level, and the spiritual level, like, baby, being able to be content is going to beat you up. Because when I tell you, like, adulting, being an adult, being a person, being a human being, I won't just say adulting because, you know, the kids be kidding too. They be having their little stuff, and I don't know if they going to tune in and, you know what I'm saying, the younger audience going to be listening. But y'all too, you know, you got to take care of yourself. And I say that because as you're growing, like, you know, you're going to have different demands on you in different ways. And first of all, if your body ain't there, like, just getting up and getting out of bed, you're not getting enough sleep, like, baby, you already at a deficit. So making sure that you take care of yourself overall, and not just focusing on that one point, because while we talk here a lot about just, like, you know, a little bit of spiritual wellness, we talk about emotional wellness on the podcast, like, it takes more than just that to truly sustain and be yourself in this world. Furthermore, in order to be content, because being content, you know, that gets into the whole thing of also confidence, loving who you are, loving where you're at, and respecting that. And so when you're taking care of you in all ways and aspects, it's a lot easier to navigate and find that contentment, because, you know, like, hey, okay, today was not the best day emotionally, but all right, like, I know I'm gonna talk to my therapist next Tuesday at 5, I'm gonna be cool, or I might go hang out with my friends this weekend, like, all right, we gonna smooth it out, we're gonna get us some laughs. Or it could be like, you know what, I'm lagging in my energy a little bit, like, I feel God telling me I have a purpose, I feel Him telling me to show up this way and this way or whatnot, but for some reason, like, I can't get myself to catch up. Well, you know what I'm saying, maybe you need to drink a little bit more water. You know, maybe it's not just like you need to unbig your back, but, you know what I'm saying, you need to work on your cardiovascular health. You know what I'm saying, get that heart rate up. Like, maybe you need to lift a couple of weights or something like that. Like, definitely taking care of your wellness is just so important. Prioritizing your health in all ways is definitely major in being able to be content with yourself, because, again, health is wealth. And so then we'll move into the seeking guidance. And this might be number 2 for me, maybe number 3. And like the 7 things that I really rock with. I said number 1 was confidence, but I'm actually gonna say that is number 2, and I'm gonna say that seeking guidance is number 3. Cause number 1 I ain't got to it yet. I'll tell y'all that in a second. But definitely with the seeking guidance, my bad, guys. But yeah, like, wisdom comes in all shapes, forms, and fashion, all ages, all aspects of life. And anything that I've learned so far in life is do not be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid to let somebody show you how to do something better. Better yet, do not be afraid to hear or listen to somebody that done been there and done that, because there's probably something that you're doing or trying to do in your process that they done tried, and they be like, you know what, I feel you, I see where you're coming from, but if you work it like this, if you do it like that, like, probably is gonna want better results. You know what I'm saying? And I just have really learned the importance of having guidance as you're navigating life, and how that also leads to you being able to be content with yourself, because it's nothing like feeling supported. And that's anything that I've found to help me really get through those rougher patches and stuff for the process, is being able to lean on a healthy support system. Why? Because I know that they're there for my best interest, for 1, and for 2, you know what I'm saying, I know they ain't gonna lead me astray. I know they're trying to continue to help me be my own guiding light. And I think a lot of times too, we blur lines between seeking guidance and seeking validation. And seeking guidance for someone is not being validated by them, but it's just helping increase and having better understanding. When you're seeking validation from people, that's when you get into the whole like, oh, if they don't say it's okay, if they don't like this, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. And no. That's not having guidance. That's validation. We want to have guidance, i.e., we want to speak to people when we're heard. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear people when they talk to us, and we want to listen to be understood and not to respond. So, two different things, but definitely learning how to have guidance is really major. Also, in being able to live a content lifestyle, because while sometimes we feel by ourselves, we are never alone. Whether that's because God is always with us, or we really got people around us that love us like that. Then moving into one of the bigger pieces here, which is self-reflect. And self-reflection, let's see, when you're building into your self-reflection, how that helps you with having a year. I said, let's see, like I don't know what I'm about to say. But self-reflection is key in being able to be content, because if you can't sit with yourself, like again, I just touched on having a solid support system. If you can't sit with yourself and you can't take that feedback without it making you feel less than, without it feeding your delusions and you feeling greater than, but I mean really like sit with yourself and digest and process what's happening in your own life, like you're gonna have a hard time being content. Because you're going to always look over your shoulder, you're always going to look beside you, and you're going to see what everybody else is doing. You're going to hear what everybody else is saying. You're not going to so much know what you need to do. You're not going to hear yourself, and yourself is the most important piece, because you're the one that's involved in it. And I just want to pause it to say, you guys, I'm so sorry. My voice today is like low-key gone. I'm getting over a little cold, and for some reason, like, I don't really know what happened. Like, it started out as like just a little like head cold, and it just snatched my voice. Like I took some therapy and stuff, and I'm feeling better. I'm feeling fine, but like my voice just for some reason ain't came back. Whatever, but we're gonna keep rolling with it. But I just felt the need to say that because I hear the raspiness, and so I know that you guys do too. But definitely, back to the content, back to the episode, being able to self-reflect. And I felt like self-reflection too is just so important, because as you're building contentment, like there is nothing more beautiful than being able, if you're gonna look back, looking at where you was and now seeing where you're at. And when I tell y'all, that is a beautiful moment to have with yourself. If don't nothing else, help you be more content. Just being able to see your evolution as a person. And it ain't always like super major things. Like, you know, for some people it might be like weight loss. Like you look back and you like, dang, like, boy, 50 pounds ago, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at me now type thing. For some of us, you know what I'm saying, it's better managing our emotions. But nonetheless, just being able to look back and see your own progression, self-reflect. And that also helps you as a guiding tool when it comes to doing better too, like learning from yourself. I said seeking guidance is one of them, but also self-reflection, because you are sometimes your best teacher. You are the one making your mistakes, making your choices in life, making the progress in life. I won't just say it like we just do bad, we don't do right. We do right sometimes too. And being able to look at yourself, being able to digest those things and apply what needs to be applied and take away the things that needs to be taken away. Like, definitely a great stepping stones, great tools, and you living a content lifestyle. And now we're going to touch on the last theme, which I can't wait to get more into these themes over the next couple of weeks. But for the sake of this episode, just to introduce the series, we're keeping it short. This is my favorite one, you guys. Like, embracing love. Like, let me tell y'all something. Like God say, and these three remain: faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. And he was not lying. Like, let me tell you something about that word love. Let me tell you something about not only when you have love within yourself, but you have love around you. When I tell you that's the most content lifestyle you're going to get, is resting and basking in, embracing the love that's around you. And honestly, a lot of the times, like, we hear, oh, embrace love, and everybody think romantic. Everybody think my man, my girl, my woman. Like, no. Baby, sometimes love is just simply, bro, loving your family more. Loving your friends that ain't quit or gave up on you yet. Loving that homegirl that still come push up on you and come see you. Loving that sister that's always there when you need to call her. Loving that brother that send you the bread when you need it and stuff like that. You know, I'm just using examples. Those aren't just, you know, all of what love is. Because love sometimes is just knowing people there. You know what I'm saying? Love is just sometimes people calling you and saying, hey, man, I see you back doing your podcast. That's what's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Really stepping in and embracing that. When I tell you, like, falling in love with the process, falling in love with myself, and furthermore, loving the things around me and the people around me has really been able to help me be content with who I am, be content with my growth, and be content with where I'm going. Like, it's nothing like having a solid support system. Furthermore, it's nothing like having a solid relationship with yourself, because self-love, of course, is the best love, but we also need relational love. Like, I hate when people talk about love, or we talk about self-love, and we just think, oh, you gotta be out on this island by yourself. No, you don't. You're literally not supposed to. Like, we were not created to live these lonely lives. And so when it comes to embracing love, I think a lot of the times too, like, we think, oh, embracing love on the journey with yourself, embracing love and self-progression and evolution means like you need to improve your self-love. Like, no, sometimes it means that you need to improve your relationships with your family. Sometimes it might mean like, you need to figure out how to work through that relationship. Sometimes it means you need to hang out more with your friends and stuff like that. Like, love is so plentiful and in abundance. It's literally one of the most free things that you can give. And I know people are like, oh, love costs. Like, no, it don't. Because when we break it down too, love is action. It's honestly, truly, it's another form of kindness. If we really want to keep it a buck with you guys, like, it's another form of kindness. And so being able to, embrace and have that, not only does it help you be content, it helps you stay content. Because I think a lot of times discontentment in life, it stems from things like not feeling loved, not feeling enough, feeling like we're alone by ourselves, feeling like we behind the whole time. You be right on track. You know what I'm saying? What it say about God? He might not come when you need him. He might not come when you want him. But brother man is always right on time. And really just being able to have love as you're walking through and getting through that process is so important. So, of course, I just touched on the 7 things a little bit here in this episode just to introduce it to you guys. Because again, Talks to Take is back. We're starting our new series, and so I'll be unpacking them a little bit more in detail. I gave y'all an overview, but the next couple of weeks we'll be getting more into them and what they specifically look when you start to find them, what it looks like when you start to find and respect your individuality, what it looks like growing in faith, what it looks like living a lifestyle of wellness, what it looks like having guidance, what it looks like, what was the other one? My bad, y'all. Self-reflecting, and what it looks like having love. So I bring this episode to you guys today to say, hey, what's up? Thank y'all so much for tuning in and to introduce our new series to you guys, because I'm here for the whole y'all, like, whew. When I say this week, it's working me. It's been working your girl. It really has been working your girl. But again, learning how to have contentment, learning how to self-reflect, resting in my faith and whatnot have been things that have enabled me to still get up, still put the camera up, still record, still get my episode done, because, we're not getting caught up in the outcomes, but we're attaching ourselves to the source this year, and definitely we are living a lifestyle of contentment. So I look forward to this upcoming season. I look forward to the next series, and I can't wait to connect more with you guys. Be on the lookout for our Wind Down Wednesdays. I don't know why I did that either. But our Wind Down Wednesdays are coming back. They'll be back, and I really will look forward to that series. I look forward to being able to bring the conversation back, bring the guests back on. And y'all know me, what I'm saying? I love the same face, because as I'm growing and evolving through our days, the conversation only gets better. But with that, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you over the next couple of weeks. And remember, every day is not perfect, but every day is worth it. And this is Talks to Tay with your favorite homegirl, The Taylor Made. And I'll see you guys next week.